RuneScape 3's executive producer has spoken. We RuneScape players finally hear something about what content is coming up, and I'll be honest, it looks really bleak for RuneScape 3 right now. Let's discuss. Whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alright, let's dissect this letter. Modkeeper starts by acknowledging that it's very important to give the player base or the community insight into the future of RuneScape. The focus of the RuneScape team is on monthly releases, providing a variety of meaningful updates supported by improvements guided by our feedback, aka patch notes, which are pretty much the majority of the content we've been getting recently. And these are some really nice patch notes and mostly community driven as suggested, as Modkeeper mentions here, and they definitely have their place in RuneScape, but they're not a substitute for actual playable content that's, for example, worth returning to the game for, like Necromancy. For the first half of the year, the focus, according to Modkeeper, is delivering on some hotly requested updates, and this is where I start to get worried. Now, there is an exciting update in this letter, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit more detail, but there's a problem. This first half of the year only goes to March, which is next month. We are in February right now. So there's no content that they can talk about for April, May, June, and that's concerning. One part of me wants to give Jagex a little bit of praise for finally getting together something in terms of a post of what's coming up, because that's what this is. There is some information about stuff coming up, and that's what we've been asking for. But the other side of me says, this is a huge company that's raking in a lot of money every year, and they can't even tell you, people that are subscribed, paying a monthly subscription, what kind of content they're making more than 2 months into the future. It's not to forget, we practically had to beg as a community or complain on different social platforms or social media sites to get this information. It's, you know, occasionally I'll feel bad about this because, you know, I'm sure the developers are working hard behind the scenes, and I really do think they are, but something isn't right here. It just isn't. In 2021, Jagex raked in £125 million, not dollars, pounds. 36, nearly 37 million of which was pre-tax profit. Sometimes RuneScape 3 feels like an indie game. It just doesn't make sense. I feel like we should be knowing what's coming at least 6 months into the future, not like 2 years, but 6 months into the future, and there should be more than what's in this post. Like, this isn't an indie game. This is a big company with 2 large, very profitable games, being Old School RuneScape and RuneScape 3, or Modern RuneScape. It feels like RuneScape 3 is truly getting neglected at this point, and signs are, first of all, Old School RuneScape is getting a roadmap. A very talented developer, Mod Shogun, went from the RuneScape 3 team to the Old School team, which I'm sure is amazing for him, but with no one of a similar stature to replace someone with so much talent, RuneScape 3 is down a fantastic developer. And then seeing this lackluster message about the future of RuneScape is the cherry on top. I just don't understand how this is possible. I really don't understand how this is possible. 2023 wasn't exactly a juicy year by RuneScape standards, and it already kind of felt like there was a content drought. But there was a, kind of a good excuse for that, being that the developers were working on a brand new skill, being Necromancy, so that's easily forgiven. But this is 2024. This is a brand new year. It's been 6 months, yes, nearly half a year, since Necromancy is released. With that little rant out of the way, let's cover what is coming in February and March, and you'll kind of understand where I'm coming from. In February, they're going to be releasing a collection of Necromancy content and improvements. They did mention what these improvements are, including the protection glyphs extending random event lengths, Thalmund being a part of the City of every Wednesday, where we'll have a sort of misc store, just like the Traveling Merchant, except you'll be able to buy a bunch of Necro-related stuff. If you buy everything in a store, you'll get an achievement. They're adding a 1000 kill count skin to the Raziel pet, and they'll be introducing a brand new ritual for you to just get ectoplasm. I would consider these either quality of life changes or patches. What is releasing in February that is pretty exciting though is a brand new quest. The quest itself is centered around the Allory in the City of and after completing the quest you'll gain access to an uncut moonstone. Yes, this is a quest that started out as a Game Jam update or project by Mod Luma, and for the eagle-eyed among you, yes, that uncut moonstone is Mod Sponge's Game Jam project as well. So this is basically a combination of 2 different Game Jam projects that have gotten the green light for actual development. Alright, back to the Moonstone. By completing the quest, you'll gain 1 uncut Moonstone. You can turn this Moonstone into mid to high level enchanted jewelry with different effects. According to Mod Sponge on the livestream, this jewelry will have both combat and skilling effects.
All with different effects. Whether combat or skilling.
Now I'm sure you're wondering, will you be able to get more of these uncut moonstones? Otherwise that choice is going to be quite important. And yes, the mod did say that you will be able to get more uncut moonstones, and there's going to be some kind of post-quest sequence. Additionally, the moonstone jewelry is something that will be expanded upon in the future. In March, the mods are aiming to launch the big combat update, which is going to be that rework to the melee, ranged, and magic combat styles. I've covered that in a previous video. If you're interested in that, go check it out. That being said, it is worth noting that some things are simply going to be changed before they make it into the live game. If something radically changes, you can expect a video from my end. Additionally, in March, they'll have a brand new Easter event, which I'm actually kind of looking forward to because they mention we've learned a lot from the vibes of the Christmas village in December, so this year our Easter event will be better than ever. If it's going to be as good or similar to the Christmas event, that is probably going to be a pretty cool Easter event for once. So, good to see that. The rest of the letter is pretty much a recap on last year and a thank you for filling in a recent survey. Really what we have here is something I would assume is considered content in February, being that new quest is probably going to be like a 20-30 minute quest. I assume so just because the Owlery is probably not going to be the biggest quest story-wise, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. We have a large combat update, which I definitely do think is a large update. Like, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, spaghetti code and everything. Fixing combat isn't easy. Definitely effort well worth spending. And then we have what's presumably going to be a pretty good Easter event coming up. I'm glad we know what is coming, even though it doesn't seem to be of that much quantity content play-wise. There's something that's missing that spark, like a new boss, or new skilling method, or skill rework, or new skill does have. It's missing that spark. And while I would say these are just February and March, and we still have plenty of months to go, the fact that there's not even a single mention of something coming in April, May, June, or who knows, maybe even at the end of the year, for all I care, to look forward to is just not good. It just isn't looking good for RuneScape right now. And if you're a player that's, hasn't finished all the content and you just came back, sure, there's plenty of stuff to do for you, but to retain a large part of the high-level player base, which there's definitely a lot of you out there, or people that have already tried out Necromancy and are looking for something else to try, it just isn't there right now. There is no real reason to return if you've already tried Necromancy, and that's the problem. And for players that are currently playing, there isn't really that much to look forward to keep playing. Think of it this way. If you killed Vorkath on release in November of 2023 and then logged out, and you log back in the coming month of March, you really wouldn't have missed anything except that one quest that's releasing in February. Something doesn't feel right here. It's just sad. It's just sad.